Get that so it's touching the cog. So there's that one. Loosen these off, and then you should find these pretty easily. When you get to near the bottom, rotate it so that, like so. I'll show you in a sec. So you can see this one there is that's 6 and it's just below it. And on this side, what have we got? That one is just above 6. So I've now adjusted the right hand side so I'm exactly on the 6. And to make it easier, I'm just going to lift this up so that I'm exactly on the 6 there. So I'm going to still lock this one off for a second. And then I'm going to undo so that's now loosened off this. So now I'm going to drop down just beyond 6, then come back up again, lock it off. To be honest, as long as you can get to one of them to tighten it, you're okay. Not going up and down. So there we go. Let's have a look. So if we wind them up to, that's actually 6 inches, and he's 6 inches over there. So that's all good there then. Slot the nose in there. Over here, slot that in there. And remember, you must put the washer on next, the big washer, before you put on the other skid. Side, then you get the big nose washer there. The slot, there's a slot in the bar here on this side, and you can sort of tighten this up here, and then you can also just back off a bit, a few turns. And this is why if you've drilled your bar, it's a bit harder. You haven't got any adjustment there. You've just got a hole. If you drilled your bar, you could maybe, instead of drilling like an 8mm hole, you can make it like a 12mm hole, something a bit bigger. So it has got a tiny bit of leeway there. So now if I go, because once you get the chainsaw on it, it can sometimes affect the lift. So it should be nice and smooth. So yeah, it should be. Oh, it's catching on the chain brake there. I mean, that's how it should work. And I tend to sort of go up and down, sort of go up, put itself, and then now if we go to say 6 inches, clamp that up tight. You can tight. I mean, another thing as well is that what you can do is, if there's any bar sag, lift the bar up. You won't get it on this really, but push the bar up in the middle, and then as you're pushing the bar up, tighten this, and it puts a bit of pressure, upwards pressure on the bar. Now that everything's tightened up, is this still going up and down nicely? So, I mean that's how it should work. If you find that you get to it, if you find that you get to a certain height and it's like you're going, oh, it's too tight. The reason is that this top part of the mill is different to where the bar is clamped, and if this top part of the mill is different, it's going to make these upright posts are going to be this way or that way, and as you go up it starts trying to pull them in or push them out. And the way to solve that is, as I said already, if you've got a slotted bar here, you can release the nut underneath a bit, and then at least this can move in and out until it equalises. If you haven't got a slotted bar because you've drilled your bar, so come down quite low. I've come down to about 6 centimetres. Lock off both clamps at each end pretty tight. Loosen off that bolt there, and on the other side over here, and then also loosen these 2 grubs and these 2 grubs. And what you should find is that will then allow this to equalise if there's pressure somewhere. You could also give this another clamp up hard, so that then it will pull the black bracket up, or it will let it go down. And then once you have that and it feels like it's sort of centralised, the next thing to do is tighten these 2 grubs and these 2 grubs, and then don't get this too tight up against that block, because otherwise it actually causes friction, and that will be what's making it stiff. So that doesn't have to be rammed hard up against there, so you know, 1/2 mil away or so. And then after you've done that, if you like, you can always leave these bolts undone, and then try the rise and fall of the mill to see if that's worked. But what you'll usually see is that this, once you've loosened these grubs here, the mill will suddenly sort of pull that way, or pull in as the tension is released. And then you know then that the posts are upright, and you should find the travel is better up and down. If it isn't, then you can repeat that process again.